Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a source today that, well, on the surface looks pretty simple.
Right.
It's material designed for learning English, specifically by walking you through the experience of buying a TV.
And yeah, while it might seem basic, if you actually look closer, it's really packed with practical, real-world knowledge about a common interaction.
Totally. The language used, the cultural expectations.
Exactly.
That's precisely it. So our mission for this deep dive isn't just to read this material out loud.
No, not at all.
It's to extract those core nuggets. The practical steps, the key phrases, those pronunciation tips, even the subtle cultural cues, basically giving you a shortcut to understanding this whole scenario without having to, dissect it all yourself.
Think of it as getting the essentials for navigating that kind of electronic store conversation.
Yeah, getting the essentials. It's about layering that understanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seeing how the vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and, well, culture all come together.
In a single, pretty everyday situation.
Okay, so let's jump right into this scenario presented in this material. Imagine you walk into an electronics store. What's that first interaction usually like?
Well, you're typically greeted almost immediately. Sales assistants, in this context, they're usually quite proactive. The opening in this source is, classic. Hi there, welcome, how can I help you today? It sets a friendly, helpful tone right away.
And the customer in this scenario isn't just browsing aimlessly.
No, they've got a reason.
They have a specific problem. Their old TV just gave up on me. That's a phrase you hear a lot, right? When something electronic just stops working.
Right. It implies it completely failed. Kaput. This material gives a good example of how to use it, too, like saying, my phone gave up on me right before my vacation.
Oh, yeah. Been there. Oof. Relatable pain. So the assistant isn't just going to wave vaguely at the wall of TVs.
Yeah, they need more info.
They need information. The material shows they'll ask questions to narrow things down, like, do you know what size or type you're looking for?
Yeah, they're trying to understand your needs from the get-go. And the customer here, they actually have some clear preferences.
Okay, what are they?
Around 50 inches, definitely wants a smart TV, and preferably 4K.
Ah, preferably. That word preferably is really useful, isn't it?
It is.
It means ideally, or if possible, it's a way to state something you want without it being a strict must-have requirement.
Exactly, like the example in the source. I'd like a table by the window, preferably in the corner. You want the window seat for sure, and the corner. Well, that's a bonus if they can manage it.
Adds flexibility. Okay,
Yeah.
So the conversation then kind of delves into how you'll actually use the TV.
Right, usage is key. The assistant asks if the customer is more into movies or sports and learns they stream a lot on Netflix and YouTube.
Okay, so that info guides the recommendation.
Precisely. And based on that, they're shown a specific model, a Samsung 50-inch 4K smart TV.
Makes sense.
And the assistant highlights the features that matter to this customer. Good picture quality, supports those major streaming apps they mentioned.
And here's the kicker.
And here's the key detail that always gets attention. It's on sale.
The magic words. Being on sale is kind of a universal language, isn't it?
Totally. It means it's at a reduced price. This material illustrates it really clearly with the example price. $499 down from $599.
So you instantly know you're getting a deal.
You see the saving right there.
Okay, so you found a TV that looks promising, good specs, on sale.
Huh.
The next phase in this scenario covers the critical details you need before you actually say yes.
Right, the practical stuff. Price, warranty, and how you'll get it home.
Price is usually first. How much is it?
Yep. And as we saw, the material gives that $499 figure, highlighting the sale aspect again.
Then comes the practical question of protection. Does it come with a warranty?
Good question to ask. And the answer in this scenario is yes. It includes a 1-year manufacturer's warranty. That's pretty standard.
Okay.
But it also introduces the concept of an extended warranty.
Which is basically extra protection you pay for, right?
Right.
Beyond the first year.
Exactly. This material mentions 2 years for an additional $49. And the customer, well, they decided to add it.
Thing.
Just to be safe. That phrase itself is pretty common, isn't it? A way to express you're paying a bit extra for peace of mind.
Yeah, for security.
Yeah.
Especially on a bigger purchase like a TV.
It's a practical consideration. So with price and protection covered, the final logistical piece is getting it home.
Right. Does it fit in the car?
The assistant asks, would you like it delivered or will you be taking it with you?
And the customer in the scenario, wisely, thinks about the size of 50-inch TV isn't exactly fitting easily in a small car.
Probably not.
So they opt for delivery. And this material notes that delivery is free delivery within the city, which is, a useful piece of information to confirm.
Definitely good to know. So once those details are settled, the decision is made.
It's the phrase.
Let's go ahead with it. Pretty straightforward way to signal you're ready to buy.
Okay, makes sense. And the assistant's response uses that common retail jargon.
Ah, yes. Let me ring that up for you.
Ring that up.
Yeah, ring that up. This material explains it simply means to complete the purchase, like scanning the item at the cash register.
Got it.
It's just efficient language you'll hear constantly in a retail setting.
So we've followed the steps of the transaction as laid out in this material. But the source also dives deeper into the language itself, right? Highlighting specific words and phrases.
Right. Let's zero in on some of the key vocabulary it focuses on. We already touched on gave up on me, meaning it stopped working.
Yep, died.
It's expressive and pretty widely understood.
And preferably, which we discussed meaning ideally or as possible,
Yeah.
lets you state a preference without being too demanding.
Exactly. Then there's the technical term 4K. This material correctly identifies it as referring to ultra-high definition resolution.
Basically, a very sharp picture.
Super sharp. And what about streaming apps?
Yeah, what does the source say there?
It clarifies these are platforms like Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, the applications that let you watch video content over the internet directly on the TV itself.
Makes sense. And on sale, meaning at a reduced price, like the TV's price drop in this scenario.
Obvious but important. It also highlights the terms around protecting your purchase. Warranty, which is the manufacturer's guarantee.
The promise to fix or replace it if something goes wrong within a set period.
Right. And the extended warranty, which is that extra coverage you purchase beyond the standard one.
For that extra peace of mind we mentioned.
And finally, ring that up, the retail term for processing the payment and completing the sale.
Yeah, the material makes sure you understand that specific piece of jargon.
Now, this source, it goes beyond just vocabulary, which is cool. It touches on how these words are actually spoken.
Pronunciation.
And some cultural points about this kind of interaction. This is where you start to get a more complete picture.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Absolutely. It brings up pronunciation points, like linking words. This is a really natural feature of spoken English where the end sound of one word kind of blends into the start sound of the next.
Smooth things out. Like the examples it gives, I'm looking to buy. Often sounds more like I'm looking to buy.
Right. Or would you like it delivered can sound more like would you like it delivered?
Right. Yeah.
It's not lazy speaking or anything. It just helps sentences flow. But it can be tricky if you're, not listening for it.
Definitely key to understanding natural conversation. Another important aspect it highlights is sentence stress.
Oh, yeah. How you emphasize certain words to convey meaning or feeling.
Totally. The material shows examples like stressing good in that sounds good to show strong approval.
Right. Or stressing lot and Netflix in I stream a lot on Netflix and YouTube to emphasize how often and where you watch.
That emphasis really changes the focus, doesn't it?
It does. Saying that sounds good might imply you like the idea but maybe need more info.
Whereas that sounds good is like, yes, I approve.
It's a vital layer of communication.
And this source also offers some cultural insights about shopping in English-speaking contexts that are really helpful to understand.
Yeah, it points out that sales assistants are generally expected to be friendly and proactive.
Offering help pretty quickly.
Yeah, that level of attention is sort of standard.
And asking about things like discounts, warranties, or delivery options isn't considered rude at all.
No, definitely not. In fact, it's kind of expected behavior if you want to make an informed purchase.
That's a big one, I think, because in some cultures, asking about price reductions might be seen quite differently.
It really might. The material also mentions that while it's not always the case, prices might sometimes be negotiable.
Especially during big sale events.
Yeah, like Black Friday or something. It's not guaranteed, but it's not unheard of to politely ask, is that the best price?
Good to know. And a simple but important point, saying thank you.
Always. Even if you don't buy anything, it's just the polite way to conclude the interaction.
Good manners go a long way.
They do. Oh, and there's a fun little fact this material includes.
Oh, yeah.
In informal conversations, especially in the UK, people sometimes call a TV the telly.
The telly. I like that.
Yeah.
A lovely bit of slang. Okay, so let's step back. Looking at all this from a single source, one focused on a pretty simple scenario. What does this really mean for you, our listener?
Well, I think it really shows how much practical knowledge is embedded in even seemingly basic interactions.
Yeah.
We took a specific situation, buying a TV, and extracted not just the steps, but the precise vocabulary, the practical phrases,
And pronunciation shapes understanding.
and the underlying cultural script that sort of guides the whole exchange. It's all there.
Understanding these layers, even from a straightforward source like this, it really prepares you for real-world situations, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's not just memorizing words from a list.
Yeah.
It's understanding the flow, the tone, the expectations. It helps you feel more confident when you actually step into that store, similar situations.
Turns a potential point of confusion or anxiety into a much more navigable experience.
Yeah, exactly.
So summing up, we took what looked like a simple English learning exercise about buying a TV.
And found a whole wealth of stuff. Practical vocabulary, useful phrases, crucial pronunciation nuances, important cultural context,
Yeah.
all woven together.
It's so much more than just learning dictionary definitions. It's learning an entire interaction.
It's a great reminder that communication in the real world it's multi-layered.
Which leaves us with a thought to take away, perhaps.
No.
Consider how much is truly communicated in everyday interactions. Not just by the definitions you find in a dictionary, but through the slang people use, the vocal emphasis, maybe even body language, and those unspoken cultural rules.
Yeah. How much of what we understand is actually kind of under the surface?